Hello, dear students. I had sent you some good notes on on Aristotle's Poetics, which is the his concept of tragedy, catharsis, and actually, I recorded two long videos which I was not able to upload. I really don't know how to teach in 5 minutes or 7 minutes videos, but I'll try my level best. Let's right away start with the concept of tragedy. Aristotle always felt that knowledge is imitation, and the best form of imitation he felt was a tragedy. He loved epic also, but then he felt that he liked tragedy more than epic because he felt that all the elements of epic are present in a tragedy. So now let's see what are the elements of tragedy. He pinpointed there were 6 elements of tragedy. In those 6 elements, of course, yeah, as you know, in any tragedy, it was the plot, then the character, of course, dialogue through which the characters talk to you, and then the three were the rest of the three were not that important. They were very important for the Greeks, but you would like them actually because you are Bollywood fans. They were spectacle, music, and dance. Now the Greeks were very fond of these three: spectacle, music, and dance. Now. I'll just explain you what is spectacle so that I can give more time on plot and character. So spectacle was any big scene setup that was created to actually show something like larger than life. Okay, and it was always spectacle always had music and singing and dancing, or rhetoric, or sort of monologues or dialogues which were very powerful, so that formed spectacle. Now to begin with, let me tell you what it was. See, you all know what a tragedy is. The tragedy is the God, when you do what an epic is. An epic is the story of a hero, of national hero, who is assisted by super gods and supernatural gods and supernatural elements and deities, and he wins over the evil. Now there was a slight there was a little different take to Aristotle's tragedy. According to him, the character had to be of a very good high class family. It is very obvious better that common people like you and me go through unseen tragedies and nobody cares. If a tragedy has to carry a message, it has to be a national hero, it has to be an Indira Gandhi or a Gandhi ji, and that when whatever, if something tragic happens to them, then what happens is then we get a message. So basically it was always believed that the tragic hero had to be of a high family. He had to have certain amount of goodness in him, propriety. He had to be very valorous, he had to be brave, he had to be very true to life, real good kind of a person who had a lot of consistency, but for one thing which was called the fatal flaw or the hamartia. Hamartia was called by Greeks, and what we know in Shakespeare is called the fatal flaw. So only this much was to be seen in the character. Now the character's plot actually was the most important. It was the soul of the tragedy, and actually all the other 5 categories get subsumed by its importance. So basically what you know about a plot is that a plot was a series of events which had surprising turns and twists about it. It had to have a beginning, middle, and end. It had to be very consistent and believable. Nothing just thrown into it to make it thrilling or enjoyable. So it had to have a lot of consistency about it, and it had to be very believable. It was a series of events in which this hero who was a very good person, who belonged to a good family, was he's supposed to be leading a normal life till one fatal flaw in his character, one which is called hamartia by Aristotle, leads to the reversal of fortune in his life. Like he's leading a very okay life, he's happy, he's a gentle person, he's making people happy, people are people like him, but suddenly something. Okay, now let me also tell you that this fatal flaw of Shakespeare, which you call hamartia in Aristotle could be a little different also. In Shakespeare we have totally the fault of the hero. Like King Lear is gullible. He believes the wrong people. In Macbeth, it's ambition. He's very ambitious. So they were very good people, but one fatal flaw led to a reversal of fortune in their lives, which means that their life started changing the other way around. The nice life now changes into traumatizing life, which is the reversal of fortune. It is called the reversal of fortune or peripecia by Aristotle. And then when bad days come, when he starts suffering, he starts wondering why this happened. He starts an argument in his soul as to why this had to happen to him, which Aristotle calls Dionia. And now there is this recognition of the truth. It is called by Aristotle anagnorisis. Now, this is the recognition of the truth. King Lear realizes, oh my God, I cannot give you the Greek examples because none of you know the Greek tragedies. To explain you, I'll have to give only Shakespearean, examples. So basically, now this suddenly King Lear realizes, oh my God, the fool kept on telling me, I never heard him out. Cordelia was the girl who said that she loved her husband the most, was the true out of the three sisters that he had put a question to as to whom do they love the most. And he felt that Cordelia doesn't love him more, and so he banished Cordelia. But now with the reversal of fortune, he's braving the storms, and being the king of England, he's braving the storms. He's in